Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Danny Reed. I'm with the Miami Beach JCC, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome everyone to the third in a series of Israel through Yeruham's lens. And I want to turn it over to our special guest and also one of the people responsible for this series, Debbie Golan from Atid Bamidbar, very, very quickly. But of course, we're going to thank the Miami Yeruham Partnership and the Greater Miami Jewish Federation. We're very pleased. Matil, how many years has I'm putting you on the spot. How many years has the Miami Yeruham Partnership existed? When did it start? Do you know? Offhand? Just make something up. We'll accept it. And you're on mute. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself, dear.
Matil, you're on mute. Yeah. How many
I think
years do you
it's going to
think?
be around 17 already.
17 years. Wow.
I think my first visit was in 2007, which means we're talking about like 21 years.
Well, 2007 would be, we're 2026, so 19 years. 19 years.
Maybe that was a task force and then just.
Yes.
Wow. And think of the changes even in those 19 years, for both our communities. So, wow, that's amazing. So, so this is part of a series that we're continuing to help strengthen the partnership and learn from each other and learn about the amazing things that are happening in Yeruham as well. And we have Debbie Golan from Atid Bamidbar to tell us a lot more. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Debbie. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you. And
thank you. Okay, so first of all, I think we should start by singing happy birthday to Yeruham, because the official birthday of Yeruham was Tu B'Shvat, which was yesterday. And Yeruham is now officially only 75 years young, right? 75 years young. 75. And looking a lot younger than its years because of all these new developments. But I thought what I was appropriate to do in this series was to share some of the early photos from Yeruham's history and the very new developments of the Yeruham Heritage House and Park, Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Park, which is a national heritage site. And no small thing that the narrative about who developed the country, who developed the Negev, now has officially introduced Yeruham as a development town, as the first transit camp for new immigrant, far from the center of the country, far from any existing settlement. That's right in the narrative now. That's the meaning of a national heritage site, of our being a national heritage site. And I think that's very, very exciting. And I wanted to share with you a little bit of what's going on here. Hang on a second. Let me start out here. And now I'm going to try to share screen, and you'll tell me if it's working. And then we'll be able to see. Yeah, how are we doing here? Okay? Can you see it like a display, or you see all kinds of things on the side?
No,
okay.
We see everything around.
Okay, how's this? Okay? So this is how Yeruham looked in 1951. There's nothing else around it. Dimona is a dream, a plan in a desk drawer for a city not far from Yeruham, but still not existing. Stable care, the kibbutz that Ben Gurion moved to, still doesn't exist. Kibbutz Revivim is really Mitzpeh Revivim. It's a small outlook of a few pioneers over the mountain range from Yeruham. And Mashabeh Sadeh has a Garin, a small settlement group there too. Mitzpeh Ramon doesn't exist yet. Be'er Sheva, which was the only Ottoman-founded city in the country, and a British center for controlling the Negev, is basically one large immigrant camp in 1951. So Yeruham is really special, and it was so special that it got its own movie. There was a little film clip made about the founding of the Tel Yeruham transit camp for new immigrants. And this is pretty amazing because they showed the film clip as a kind of promo to major films in in what do you call them, cinemas all over the country. And what was also special is about the location, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And one of the reasons we felt that we had to tell this story is because it hasn't really been told before of all the people who came here. And we have also several goals, okay? The first one is, as I just mentioned, tell me if you can see this, to showcase the heretofore untold pioneering contribution of Yeruham and its residents to the development of the Negev and the state of Israel, to instill local pride, connect new and veteran residents. As you may know, and I will definitely emphasize it, Yeruham, I moved here, was 6,000 people almost 40 years ago. And now today we're 13,000 people, which on a Miami scale may not sound like a lot, but it's actually a source of pride for everybody. But it means there's a lot of new families and a lot of new people that have to connect to the story of this place and to the veteran residents here. Also, this is a story about integrating mass immigration, refugees from many countries. And it may have, we're convinced that it has, significance and relevance for immigrant integration around the world. Also, our Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Park is focusing on what is the meaning of pioneering today. We understand now that the people who settled here from so many different countries back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, 80s, 90s, they're pioneers, which is already an achievement to call them pioneers. But the question is, what is pioneering today? And also, what are the values of the past that we can use to build a better future for ourselves, and in general to ask questions about what kind of society do we want to build together. In general, what we've seen among the visiting groups that come to us is, and between visiting groups and local residents who are highlighting their story when they meet with the visiting groups, is hang on a second. Someone is trying to call me and I'm trying to turn them off. Okay. Is to bridge gaps between them and help both sides understand that we're part of a much bigger story of Israel, a much bigger story of Jewish people. And one of the things that we're striving for is to make this a top-notch, highest quality, interactive educational tourism center, communal tourism center, and help Yeruham and Atid move up a level to something that we feel is very, very exciting. Let me see if I can move. No, for some reason, now I can't. Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, just to show you what I mean by the contrast. Okay, this is the photo given to me by Menachem Barabash, who was from the Ministry of Labor, a young man, 20-something years old, when he was working then, and he was pushing for making Yeruham exist where it does exist today. And today, this is already an old picture. Now there are many more constructions and buildings all around here of Yeruham today. So there's a lot of development that's been going on. And let me see, here we are. Just to show you what it looked like here, okay, where this guy is standing on the ladder. Can you see him? Can you see the man standing on the ladder here? No? How about here now? Can you see someone standing on a ladder?
Debbie, it's not.
We still see the original picture.
Correct.
Oh, gosh, wait a minute. Hang on. This is very strange. Why is it not working? Hang on a minute. Here, how about now?
Right, because it's not on slideshow. It's like we're still seeing.
It was.
There we go.
It was on slideshow. It was on slideshow.
Now I see a man on a ladder.
Yeah.
Okay, I just took it off slideshow and now put it on a regular PPS. Okay. The man on the ladder is standing where our building is today. Okay, so you just get an idea of how empty this was. And if you look underneath him, you can see the row of the shacks and a little boy trying to make a tree grow there in the middle. The picture on the bottom center is a photo of the tents where the original people were put before the cabins were completed, and some immigrants from Romania who were the first settlers in Yeruham. And also on the top left, you can see the cabins and the tents that people were staying in. The bottom left picture, which looks like some kind of festive event, was a festive event. It was the first state visit of President Yitzhak Ben-Zvi, who's walking in the middle with a black suit and like a white shirt sticking out of it and a black hat, a fedora. I don't know if you can see my pointer, but this is here. And you can see his first visit was, as a president of the state of Israel, was to the Yeruham transit camp for new immigrants. Thanks to his visit, I'm not sure how I can describe it, but thanks to his visit, or after his visit, the original stone buildings that people moved into from the Ma'abara shacks, the transit camp shacks, began to be built. And there was a little factory to make ice so that people could put ice in their ice box because they didn't have refrigerators then. And the ice that came from Beersheba was mostly melted by the time it arrived in Yeruham. So it was important to have an ice factory. And also bread, by the time it came from Beersheba, wasn't always so fresh. So they made a bakery and an ice factory as the two initial industrial developments of Yeruham. And after that, it began to develop a little more, but you can see what this looked like then, and any of you who have been visiting Yeruham in the past few years know that it definitely does not look like this now. So I want to show you a little bit about the original development of this National Heritage Site, the Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Park. This is the site as it originally looked for a drone photo. You can see where the Statue of Identity is, there's an arrow pointing to the white pillars there. And then the Ma'abara installation, that was our first outdoor museum exhibit. And an empty plot where nothing is growing. From 1951, nothing was growing here. And how it's supposed to look in a computer-generated image. And the plan, I'll just share with you the plan. These are the original Ma'abara transit channels, some of them in the bottom right. But here's our Atid Bamidbar Center. Here are the 3 reconstructed Ma'abara shacks with displays inside. We'll talk about that in a minute. What we haven't yet built are 3 pergolas for outdoor activities and an amphitheater and a place for a Frena oven where the 3 trees are, a kumzit site, and other like more landscaping development with the Ma'abara installation over where it's yellow here. Can you follow all of this? Here's a picture of the Ma'abara installation before we started construction on the Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Park. And we launched it in 2017. And now we have a whole museum. Let me show you what the plan was for the museum. This is our building, the Atid Bamidbar Center, and we wouldn't have an Atid Bamidbar Center without the Greater Miami Jewish Federation and the Robert Russell and Jack Chester Foundations, headed by Norma Lippa, who came in on top of Menucha Skola's original donation and helped us move into a building. And so our story is intimately integrated into the partnership and the vision. This is what it looks like today for any of you who visited here. And this is what the mock-up was going to look like, okay, with different niches for different communities or issues, topics like education, employment, culture, sports, and more problematic issues like or social justice issues, and making the desert bloom, and the map that's projected down from the ceiling onto the floor, and with this computer-generated image of the Ma'abara street with the renovated cabins on one side and the pergolas facing the gorgeous scenery on the other side facing west. And now, just to show you, we're actually, whoops, not yet. Hang on, here. It's a dream come true. This is how it actually looks today, with some development and landscaping around the sides of on the eastern side facing the neighborhood of the cabins. And the niches, this is dedicated to the immigrants from Romania, with that little film clip that I talked to you about that was made, the only promo film clip of the founding of a transit camp for new immigrants, or a development town that I know about in the whole of Israel. And there were 29 development towns. So it's a very special story. And thank you. Come and visit. But before that, maybe I will stop the share and I will share now the little film clip. Tell me the truth, okay? Because this is the first time I've ever done something like this. I got one of our national service girls, we only have one actually, who's serving with us to film me. And you can tell me, really, I want to know, truthfully. Hang on a second. You tell me if you can hear, okay? I'm excited to share with you a whirlwind tour of some of the most exciting things that we've been doing.
We can hear.
Yes, you can hear? It's here. Okay. Which have turned the Atid Center into a National Heritage Site and the Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Heritage Park. And one of the things that have been new here is a talking mat on the floor, and this whole display of different aspects of the communities and the topics that Yeruham is characterized by and have contributed to the development of this town. I'll just show you here that we also have beautiful pictures of nature around Yeruham. We have beautiful pictures of tourism around Yeruham. We have pictures of the different projects and events that we've held over the past year or so. And as you know, there's also the Adram project of the embroidery for veteran women's empowerment, and the niche that's dedicated to Menuchas Golapans, who was, you could say, the initiator of the home for Atid Bamidbar, this building that we're now in, which has become a National Heritage Site. So we have here niches about the immigrants from Romania, from Persia, from North Africa, from India, and from the former Soviet Union. And we have also different issues like employment, education, young people, and coming to from social involvement, and sports and culture. And in all of these different aspects of Yeruham's history and development, we've focused on the theme of this National Heritage Site, which is pioneering and innovation. Because the more we dug deeper into the history of Yeruham, the more we discovered that Yeruham has been a pioneer in many, many, many ways. Now join us for something really exciting, which is 3 reconstructed Ma'abara shacks that have inside displays and in interactive stations, and a film that really excites us, and I hope it'll excite you too. These are the 3 new reconstructed shacks, like existed right here. The Ma'abara, the transit camp for new immigrants, that was founded in January 1951, 75 years ago in 2026. So we're moving towards a milestone in Yeruham's development. And the spirit of Yeruham is the theme of the first cabin. First reconstructed Ma'abara cabin, transit camp cabin, to the second one where there's surprises.
Debbie, it's very disjointed and the sound is going in and out. I think it's just a connection issue.
Here we have 4 different stations where it's possible to experience hands-on some of the issues that Yeruham is characterized by and grapples with. We have a sand table because there's sand in our machtesh, in our crater, and from the sand we can make beautiful things like glass, like from the Phoenicia glass factory, and in the past the mega ceramics factory, Ackerstein, and other industries here in Yeruham. And what's fun about this is you can play with it. This is something really exciting, and this is interface of nature, technology, and education. This is an owl. You have a mission to accomplish. It's to save, identify, locate, and save an owl that's been wounded, a tree owl. So let's see how we can do this using drones. This is the Science Center and the Duchifat Ornithology and Zoology Center. We get a drone to put it. It's built in the Science Center. Found the owl. This is something really neat. Something of a Moroccan theme, Persian theme, Indian theme. Russian theme. Sure. These are some of the different cultural identities that make up the incredible mosaic of Yeruham's life. Each community retains its own identity, but together makes beautiful things. Maybe this is a message, not only in Yeruham but elsewhere. This is something really neat. You can put those on. And here, wait for English, like that, English. Here we are. You can create your own musical piece by choosing musical instruments.
So I'm hearing different.
You choose 3 instruments, one from European, North African, or Indian traditions. Right. Tabla, oud, drums. You can turn off the singing, and you can hear now how these new instruments affect the soundtrack that you created of a community that's multicultural. All of the forestation, all of these are a way to get involved in the issues Yeruham is grappling with, but also has found a way maybe to balance between preserving diversity and blending, making a new blend of the different communities' traditions together. Reconstructed Ma'abarat Cabin now, which was thanks to the Schusterman Family Foundation. This is still still unfinished. All the English hasn't been put on the walls, but it will be. Here we have pictures from the first built homes in Yeruham, in the Persian neighborhood, but also quotes from different people that some of whom you've encountered in the preceding movies, in the main building and also in the first cabin, about what does Aliyah mean? What does Zionism mean? What does pioneering mean? What does Yeruham have to offer now on the national level? So we have here a quote from Israel's Declaration of Independence, the vision of the state of Israel that appears in the Declaration of Independence. And we can always ask people who come now, okay, where are we vis-a-vis that vision as we approach Israel's 78th anniversary. Here is something about the imperative of dispersing the population that was concentrated into the center of the country and out to the periphery, to the Negev. That's 2/3 of Israel's territory within the Green Line. This empty wall will be a place for changing exhibits from local artists, local school pupils that we're working with now about the history of Yeruham as we move into Yeruham's 75th anniversary. And here we talk about how the title that people use to describe Yeruham residents can affect the people who live here. From Turn Left at the End of the World, a famous movie made about Yeruham, which doesn't exactly focus on strengths, to those who inherit the Negev, those who return to Zion, those who are pioneers of Yeruham. Think about what it means to kids growing up who understand that their story is a story of pioneering, is a story that continues the Jewish heritage, the Jewish vision of returning to the land of Israel from generations. And now they're here. So what are we going to do? How can we build society together? And that's the purpose of this cabin. I think the dedication of the people who came, their perseverance in hanging on to this place, which was not easy at first, and creating a vibrant community, which really has a place for everyone. I think that's like a message that we can send out from Yeruham to other places in Israel. And that's why it's so important that all the visiting groups that we come here go through all 3 reconstructed cabins and get to think about Zionism, think about Israel, think about Israeli society in new ways. I wanted to share with you that we're not stopping here. As you can see, this is not quite developed yet, but we have more of the campus to develop. Thanks for the generous contribution of JNF Australia and JNF Israel. We were able to do some of the greenery and planting that you see around us, but we have this whole area. And our dream is that here there'll be a frena oven, like a tabbout, with seats, and we'll talk about traditions of bread in Jewish and Bedouin society. That here there'll be a little amphitheater, and we can have cultural events vis-a-vis this beautiful scenery. And we can also have 3 pergolas, these things here, that are going to be built sort of like the Ma'abara shacks, but open to the view. And one of them will be a map on the floor of the world, and we can follow how people came from all over the world here to Yeruham, to Israel, and how the people who we're going to guide in this pergola will have an opportunity to see the paths that their families took to come here until they met in Yeruham. And then the next one will have a map of Israel on the floor, and we'll be able to see how people came from different parts of this country, specifically to Yeruham. And we're going to have a special space here for making campfires like on Lag BaOmer and sing-alongs through the star, looking up at the stars, and making this into a vibrant campus that will really be a drawing place for not only residents of Yeruham, residents of the area, and all the visiting groups that are beginning to return now to us after the war. Thank you. I'm really excited to share with you a world tour, some of the most exciting things.
There. Okay. How was that? This is the first time I've ever made a movie like that. Was it okay?
I think
Or
the
not so
streaming
good?
was faulty because it was like fragmented, but I think that's a streaming problem. I don't think it was part of the filming. But it's nice. I can't wait to be there and see these cabins.
I can't wait till you guys come too.
Debbie, it's Maxine Schwartz speaking. Hi, Debbie. I don't know if it's a problem of the camera or if it's a redo. I'm not sure. It's very jerky. I have vertigo and it's giving me an attack. Number 1. Number 2, the audio and the visual are not perfectly synchronized. I think that can be corrected. I'm not sure. Now I want to say something about the content, about, first of all, our title, Atid Bamidbar. Maybe you should now change it to Hayom Bamidbar, because so much has been accomplished. Ironically, you mentioned that you had big help from the JFNA in Australia, or the JNF in Australia. Yesterday, I saw a video about Australia, a whole continent, I don't know, 10 times as big as Israel, 20 times. Did you realize, as I did not, that the entire Australia is on the East Coast, all the big cities, and the outback is the rest of the continent? So I don't know, they don't seem to be paying attention to what can be done, and they should keep they should keep the money and not send it to you. They need it more than you do for their midbar, which is huge. So kol hakavod on what's been done in the Negev and especially in Yeruham, but you need to fix that film because it has a wonderful content and it's not professional yet. The only thing that worked was you.
I think part of it had to do with the streaming, Maxine, just streaming from Israel.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I don't know how to fix it, but you could see the same thing I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, I saw it a few minutes before, and it were, because Debbie sent me, and it ran smoothly. I think it was just like streaming over Zoom sometimes causes that. But the film is great. It's I think I was there about 5 or 6 years ago, right before COVID, with that group from March of the Living. And that was very interesting to see between then, right? I think it was just like your building and then an empty lot. And now,
right.
Wow, you've made so much progress in the last few years. That's wonderful.
Thank God.
It would be amazing to have eventually a restaurant, maybe like cooking classes with Ariel included and the cooks of Yeruham, where the kitchen is like a rotating lab and, you have like the bakery week and the Moroccan food week and the Iranian food week, like just things like that, or even a coffee shop, with the local people, not bringing Starbucks, but just like the local people,
Yeah, for sure. We have
Bedouins and,
Yeah. No, we also dream about another building that will have a cafeteria with places to sit outside and also a second floor with a hall to rent out. We have a lot of dreams for the future. So it really integrates several functions that we feel will be also income generating, but also offer facilities for local residents and visitors from outside Yeruham. I wanted to show you one more.
Do those ladies that did the cookbook, are they still working together? Because I think Matil has a good idea.
We try to integrate them in what we do. The women who are in the book itself have mostly, one has passed on, and others have retired because they were just getting.
Are there women taking their place?
Yes, we have culinary queens. Yeah, we had to put a few on like leave without pay when the war broke out, because there was no more tourism. But now we have 3 women who are working. And we hope the tourism will build up. In fact, today and tomorrow, there's an international incoming tourism, like a huge event, okay, with thousands of people in Tel Aviv. And our new CEO, Neta Tzachor, and Alon Siegel, who's our new tourism director, are there pushing Yeruham and the culinary queens. And they made a little clip of our thing. That's the other film. Danny, maybe you can show it. If you don't mind, because I have it, but I don't know, I have it open.
Debbie, the reason that I circled back to Matil's idea is because I don't know if you know that I have probably planned more missions than anybody in this whole country. And what all the bus captains love and go for is cooking class. And you know what? The men love it as much as the women. So I think Matil's right on. This would be a real great selling point for Yeruham. And, these tours all have choices. And Yeruham, as you know, is in the Velterine. So I think it would be a great attraction.
But
I agree.
People planning the tours to pick you.
I think that, yes, for many years, I guess, the Moroccan influence was the dominant one, the predominant one in Yeruham, but I think today Yeruham is so diverse. And like a few years ago when we went, we had lunch at those Persian people's homes, and the food was to die for. It was delicious. And I know, there's so many different ethnic backgrounds that it could be like a highlight of the trip to, experience through food, which is our weakest and strongest point for the Jewish people, to experience the diversity of Yeruham, through food at Atid Bamidbar. I mean, it will be such a win-win.
I completely agree. Our culinary queens already, Hadara, for instance, does cooking workshops for pupils from Yeruham and visiting groups, and Shula Kanafo, who unfortunately left us for a more steady job than tourism. But I hope she come back to us. She did wonderful workshops that I participated in that we did for visiting groups, and it's definitely something we're thinking about. And we also have, we're in touch with an Ethiopian resident of Yeruham, a lovely woman who helps me prepare the delicious food for the Sigd holiday, the Ethiopian holiday we celebrate the end of November, end of Cheshvan. And I'm also negotiating with a Bukharan woman who lives across the street here. We'll see. It's definitely something we're thinking about, and that we agree. I think all of us agree that this is a strength and a pulling, something that will pull people here. This is for this international national the tourism fair in Tel Aviv. This little clip that shows a bit of other things, including people from Yeruham, students from Yeruham, who are now coming on a almost daily basis to see the displays and the activities in the Yeruham Pioneers Heritage House and Park. So, Danny, this is like a minute and a half. A minute. It's 1 minute. That's it.
Wow, this is amazing.
That was my professional photographer, not the national service girl.
Yeah,
You can
Now
tell.
for the fair.
Debbie and everyone, it's
Hi,
Sherry.
Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
And I have had the privilege recently of being at the Pioneer Center with you and with Ofer and Scott Kaufman. And I can't tell you how exciting it is. And I agree with everything that Max and Mathilde said, of course. And it really, I can't tell you, there's a light. When you go there, you leave with a light inside of you because it is just so exciting. My first trip to Yeruham was with Rena. There was no hotel. There was nothing. And over the years, I've gone several times. Maxine, it's not as far as it used to be. I don't know how to explain that to you. But we went and drove in a car, stuffed in there with Dahlia and Scott and me. And we got there and we were all just mesmerized at the joy and the strength and what Miami and Yeruham together have built. And we are the pioneers now. And I'm just very excited and grateful to Debbie for all her work and for everything that our Miami Federation has done. But I think the future is so bright and so exciting. And I really want to sit down together and start a strategic plan to make it shouldn't just be this little group that's in love with Yeruham. All of Miami has to be in love with it. And that's the goal.
Well, you know, Sherry, the Jewish army travels on its stomach. So that's why I really love Mathilde's idea.
Absolutely. I love
There's
it.
one thing I've learned about our people, that's it.
Yeah. And you're right. You're absolutely right. And they also like to shop. I want to see the boutique.
Shopping is good.
I want to see the boutique really grow
I'm already
and do
figuring out how
something.
do I buy those ceramic discs that were in both movies.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Place an order. I'll bring it to you, Maxine.
Yeah, well, thanks to the Greater Miami Jewish Federation's Women's Amutot. So our old Bedouins Women's Empowerment Project, the Adram Project, that's the Sewing and Embroidery Center, took off thanks to the Eileen and the other women Tracy, who were really instrumental in that. And we have a special niche where their products are sold, and we're going to hotels and to trade fairs and all kinds of places now to try to sell their products. And it's definitely
Is anything online?
Mona Benishai, who's now the director of the Yeruham Economic Development Company, before she became so busy, she actually made us a website. But it still has to be, you can look under Adram Women, but it has to be taken up a step with English interface and ability to purchase things online.
But we here at the GCC have a stock of products that we got through multiple projects. One of them, when Ariel from Lechem Zeh was here together with Tihila, and we did Women Empowerment Project for Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom HaZikaron, we actually brought from Yeruham several things that's we kind of building up to a store that we want to open here with the product from Yeruham. So we do have in stock many different things. And plus Holly, who was participating in another project, she also, everything that wasn't sold, she also donated to the JCC so we can sell it and transfer money back to Yeruham. So if anyone is interested in buying, we have it, and we're going to be doing most likely something around again. But
no, we're not exhibiting those products. No, we need
we don't have. That's why we initially applied for a grant of a Yeruham partnership grant last year. Do some kind of a little store here that would be supervised and should be like in the glass, maybe in the glass. A closet or something like that, and case exactly, and with an option to buy products there. That's why we thought we're going to be selling, we wanted to sell also olive oil and dips from Ariel and a bunch of other things that we thought would be very important and beneficial to the people of Yeruham. So that's why there's no, we're not in the capacity of displaying right now anything because there's no supervision. We put it up there. It's going to be, it's a big facility. We cannot supervise all of it unless we have an actual proper mini store.
So we'll talk about it later at the gym.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I would just like to emphasize when your webmaster gets it in shape so that it's online and accessible, that you let Matil or somebody at the Greater Miami Jewish Federation know so that we can lift it up.
Mm-hmm. One of our dreams, really, and we worked with Holly very closely when she was organizing the Hanukkah fairs, during a whole week in different cities around the Miami area, was to showcase. We sent boxes of products from Yeruham, and one of our dreams was to have, in every synagogue or JCC, a little display where people could order things also made in Yeruham and bring Yeruham.
You know what? I bought the Hanukkah that has the 9 blocks, and I have a much more fancy one, but I really love and use that one. So please don't forget it. That's so important for us and for you.
I think that we
Good
have
for everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Sherry is right that we have a good future ahead of us that we can plan together. And maybe Yeruham's 75th year is a wonderful opportunity to do that and to think strategically about how we can deepen the connection, increase the number of people in Miami who know about Yeruham, and also increase the number of people in Yeruham who have a deeper understanding of what Miami is, because Miami is everywhere. We have a traffic circle that says Miami Yeruham Partnership, but I think that we need more than that. And one of the things that I'm going to talk with Hillel about, and we submitted a project card, was really about how we can think strategically to get our communities to know more about each other and support each other in different ways. Jewish education or artisans works and things like that.
But also I'm gonna totally overstep and maybe I'm going to get scolded by the higher powers to be, that there are certain programs that we can start incorporating our other partnership with Orhaner and Yeruham. So that, I mean, they had that retreat for women in Yeruham, and it worked out amazingly well. But something like, this series, could have been shared with them. So they also learn about Yeruham, and they also know about, this center where they can also come and just maybe hold other type of events that they need for Orhaner. I mean, I know it's not around the block, but I think that the more we start incorporating them, it could be really wonderful to see what comes out of.
I think it's a wonderful idea and something to be further
I'm waiting for
explored.
that phone call. Miguel, you have to run this.
Okay. So to just wind up, I just want to say a few words about some of the programs that we're running now. Atid Bamidbar is doing a special series of training workshops for teachers from the Darka High School to learn more about Yeruham, so they get to understand where their students are coming from, the different communities that their students do come from. We're meeting with graduates of the Darka School also who are from different communities. We're doing a program with all the second graders in the Kol Yaakov School. That's several hundred kids. Yes. We're doing a program with all the fourth and fifth graders in all of the elementary schools in Yeruham. We're starting to plan special activities with the older kids in the Kol Yaakov School, with all the English students there. If they put together the kind of exhibit, then we'll have to find a way to get it to Yeruham too, to get it from Yeruham to Miami too, because it'll be in English. And there's a lot more planned with now for the 75th year. So it's a very exciting time to come and visit. And I think really, for me, part of the charm, it's more than charm, the magic of Yeruham is that this is a place that's known difficult years, and things were not easy always. But the people who decided to stay here despite all the difficulties and chose to build their communities and their families here and to contribute to the town, it's a message of that's very inspiring for me, because it says we can choose what we want to remember. We can remember the past, but we can say we're now in a different place and move beyond it. And I think that's a story that you can talk about the Holocaust. It's not what others did to the Jews, it's what the Jews did for themselves and their people and the Allies. And also after October 7th, it's not only what was done to us, but what we as a society have come together to do and what we can do more. And definitely the kind of hospitality and welcoming esprit de corps here in Yeruham is something that is very, very special. And with Miami, we're mishpacha, right? We're family. So I see that Alina is asking, is there going to be a celebration month? So there's all kinds of activities now, all during the coming year, that we've sat with Mayor Neely Aharon about, the Matnas, the JCC here. And we're hoping that there'll be different events that we'll be able to do, some live stream with Miami or something. I don't know. We have to work on it. We have to sit on it together.
Well, we'll be there in April, so I'll bring the mariachis.
Okay. Danny, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Or any other comments? There were a lot of good ideas for joint projects here.
I'm curious, how many students, when did the three Srifim open, and how many students have you had through there, and from what areas of the country?
Oh my goodness. About 3 months ago. And we've had schools that came with over 100 students each time. So I don't have the tally up figure, but as soon as I asked the tourism department how many, we're talking about thousands. Because a lot of groups have started, school groups, like internal tourism.
Right,
yeah,
internal.
Just today, I hosted right before the Zoom, a 90-year-old woman from Switzerland, whose grandson lives in Yeruham, and they were celebrating her 90th birthday together with the family in Yeruham. And she brought a picture that she took in 1953 of the shacks, the transit camp for immigrant shacks from 1953. You see nothing around it and just these little shacks. And she was been carrying around this picture all the time. She was on a tour for youth from Switzerland and from Bnei Akiva, right, to see where
Right.
they might. She did make Aliyah, but it's funny that she came to Yeruham and she was so moved to see everything here in the displays, and then you were just looking outside
Right.
and see what it looks like now, which is so different. So that was like there were family groups coming too, and that's some of the most moving things that happens here. I'll try to get the details for next Zoom
No,
session.
I was just curious. I mean, you could have made up any number. I would have believed you. So it's no, but it's great that it's an attraction like that. I'm sure you'll start to get the pension groups and the pensionarium and
Slowly by slowly.
Okay, oh, wonderful. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Other questions? All right. Okay, Deb,
Okay.
that was great.
So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you everybody for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank
And,
everyone who's here. Thank you.
And we, just so you know, just so everybody knows, you can spread the word also that we are, like every episode, we're editing a little bit, and we're putting it on the Miami Beach JCC's YouTube channel. So I'll make sure to send, Debbie, you can share it, and I'll send it to Matil and everybody else that once in a few days, once this episode gets uploaded, but they are available, so please share it, so more people will become aware. All right?
Good about that, Debbie.
Thank you. Thanks for all the good
Thank you.
ideas.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Danny, dear. Thank you, Noam, dear. Take care. Bye-bye.